got the master coming back as this guy who's gonna love everybody and rapture everybody off to heaven. That's not true. That's not the teaching of the Bible. The Bible says, that he does judge and make real judge and make real judge.
All praises to the Father and His Son, the creator of the universe. Yeah, the giver of the laws and commandments, crucified for the sins of the whole earth. But y'all don't pay him no mind, y'all don't pay him no homage. I ain't tripping on him, y'all don't love him. Y'all too busy worshiping other guys, Christmas, Easter, Valentine, yeah, y'all love sin. And these taxes ain't no help, they done closed up the doors to the kingdom. Matthew 23 and 13, tell me y'all some hypocrites, y'all ain't even getting in the kingdom. And that's real, I've been walking with the word, trying to get to know the word. Another word, I've been reading script. And come to find out, it's a different story when you understand the manuscript. It is false doctrines, all lies. Is it? Like going to heaven when we die. What else? Like eating catfish and pork rinds. That's abomination in the Lord's eyes. You gotta unlearn and relearn everything that you did learn about the Most High God of these scriptures, and you better do it before He return. Cause He ain't coming back to shake hands. Nah, kissing and hugging. No, He coming back to set the record straight. Come on, He coming back to pass judgment. Yeah, cause He ain't coming back to shake hands. He ain't kissing and hugging. No, He coming back to clear the controversy. He coming back to pass judgment. 7 trumpets, 7 vows. Right after Jacob see his trouble, it's coming. He said the whole world gon' bow. Whether you hate him or you love him, it's coming. You got a war, you ain't keeping his commandments, you gon' perish when he come back with his army and the sword. All judgment has been handed down to him from the Father, and the title has been given Lord of all lords. You've been worshiping in vain though, cause you don't really know him like you claim so. At the day of judgment, he gon' tell you he don't know you either. And to the lake of fires, where you gon' go? All you heathens and you Edomites. Yeah, Babylon gon' die that night. Talk a takeover, full overthrow. The man of sin, he gon' burn slow. What you know about blood up to the horse's bridle? He gon' call all the fowls of the air to come feast on the dead bodies, laying every word. You can read it, you been sinning, you ain't gon' be spared. I've been reading, you should get prepared. Yeah, I've been reading, baby, you should be scared. If you thinking the Messiah is a white boy with blue eyes and blonde hair, that's deception at its highest. He gon' judge you with the highest when you kick against the laws and the commandments. That's the covenant, I'm standing on it. 10 toes down, ain't no use in playing on it. You gotta unlearn and relearn everything that you did learn about the Most High God of these scriptures, and you better do it before He return. Cause He ain't coming back to shake hands. Nah, kissing and hugging. No, He coming back to set the record straight.
Yes, sir.
Sick of y'all fake Jews, Amalek. We know who you are. We know who you are. We know who you are. Revelations 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Yeah, right. We Israel and that's it. We don't need no cosigner. We authentic, y'all counterfeit like Dollar General panty liners. We wear afro and not no small hats, and I nut swing like them ball bats. Shooters Maccabees with an ass jaw. Loudest trumpets when I sound off. Busting a spiritual sawed off. Break a book out, you get hauled off. Keep that pork, my nigga. We don't eat no hog mouth. Keep that pork, my nigga. We don't eat no hog mouth. Revelation 3 and 9. Heard about y'all synagogue. Heard about y'all reputation. All y'all do is steal and rob. All y'all do is mass murder. All y'all do is kill shit. Cat out of bag on your Amalek. You've been declared illegitimate. Yeah. Shoot a Maccabee with an ass jaw. 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 Yeah. Hallelujah, my brother. Boy, that's a nice intro, Hebrew. Boy, you did that.
Mm-hmm.
You did that, Hebrew. All praise to the Most High. Man, we glad to be before the family once again. Man, we happy to be here, man. I got my uncle with me tonight, my uncle Amnon with me tonight.
Shalom family.
Got my brother Mikael in the house tonight. What's up, Hebrew?
Shalom. Going back in the
Shalom,
background. Hebrew.
shalom. Hey, you need to be all praise to the Most High. I love my brother. But yeah, family, tonight, we got a powerful lesson. We praying that the Most High will use us to help somebody in the house of Israel to acknowledge their trauma, face their trauma, take it to the Most High, and give that thing to Him. Because at the end of the day, He's the only one that we can cast our trauma on that can help us with that thing.
That's right.
Now, you can get counseling. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't tell you not to go see a doctor. I can't do none of that. But what I can tell you is I know the doctor. I know the doctor. And his
Mm-hmm.
name is the Elohim. And his son is Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yes, sir.
So we have suffered some type of trauma throughout our lifetime. Some more than others. But as Israelite men, women, and children, we have all suffered trauma, whether we want to admit it or suppress it.
Mm-hmm.
It's even in our DNA. I know our men like to play Macho Man Randy Savage and act like we always okay with everything. We good. But believe me, we really not. Our women have suffered sexual abuse by family members, and that gets suppressed by the entire family for fear of humiliation. And our children suffered as well through our trauma. So we're gonna deal with this topic tonight and see through the scriptures how we should deal with trauma. It's time for us to stop suffering in silence. It's time to stop lying to ourselves and our loved ones and give it all to the Most High Yah. Because guess what? Satan came to kill, steal, and destroy.
That's right.
That's his job, family. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he came to do. That's what he came to do.
That's right, bro.
So
That's right.
So we live in a broken world where bad things can happen, and most oftentimes they do happen, even to the people of the Most High. Anything from accidents, loss, failure, abuse, or even death. And all these things we can still hope in Yeshua, knowing that he can overcome our pain and our trauma and can heal us of emotional, psychological hurt and pain. Trauma is painful. And how we wish there were no traumatized Israelites at all. But reality shows us that there are. Yeshua told his disciples that because of what this world is, we will face trials. You can find that in John chapter 16 and verse 33. We're not going to have to pull that up, Hebrew. The sin of brokenness of this world has brought about curses and tragedies that will most probably we all will face one day. But Yeshua promises freedom from the trauma and hurt that we face in this present age. Though there is sorrow and grieving today, God brings mercies in the morning, fresh and renewed. Yah brings healing, not just to the physical body, but even to the mind and to the soul. He is indeed our Elohim, who delivers us out of our brokenness and makes us whole in his son, Yeshua HaMashiach.
So with that being said, we're going to talk about trauma. So let's look up the definition of trauma, bro, Mikael. If you don't mind putting that on the screen for me, Hebrew. Let's look up the definition of the word trauma. Let's look that thing up.
All right, Hebrew. Trauma. Oh, I'm sorry. Trauma, a deeply distressing or disturbing experience, a personal trauma like the death of a child, physical injury, rupture of diaphragm caused by blunt trauma. So you got a medicine type of trauma and you have a trauma dealing with your feelings.
Okay, we're going to deal with the feeling trauma.
All right.
A deeply distressing and disturbing experience. And through research, I found that you have several different types of trauma. Bro, Mikael, pull up the 7 types of trauma. The main 3 is acute trauma, resulting from a single incident. That's like something happened to you one time and you was traumatized by it. That's called acute trauma. And then you have what's called chronic trauma. This is a repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse, or slavery, or oppression, or police killings, something that's happening repeatedly to a people. It's called chronic trauma. And then you have what's called complex trauma. And this is exposure to a varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. So these are multiple tragic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. These are things that's happening kind of like emotional abuse or verbal abuse or mental abuse. And when I was putting this lesson together, I was thinking, and I was like, man, you know what? I said, not all, because nothing is absolute. But most Hebrews will say, man, I just give it to the Most High. Okay, all praise. Some of us are strong enough to do that. Some of us are strong enough to just say, I'm going to give it to the Most High and I'm done with it. But how many of us can really do that? How many of us that were abused as a child, that since we came into the truth, we don't even think about it no more? How many of us were sexually abused as a child, but since we came into the truth, it don't even affect us no more? Like, that's a small number. And some people can do it. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying that they can't. But what I do know is this personal for me. Now, the trauma that I experienced growing up as a kid, I can pray on that thing and the Most High give me strength at times, but it's not something that I'm completely over. I'm not going to stand right here and sit up here and lie that I'm completely over not having parents as a child, both of them being on cocaine, having to grow up from house to house, bouncing here and there. I'm 44 years old, bro, and I'm still not over that. You know, I'm not over losing my grandparents at 11 years old. That was my mom and my daddy. That the only mom and dad I ever had. I'm not over that. I still think about it. It's certain things that go on and it still bother me. I lost my first cousin that was like a brother to me when I was 10 years old. My brother shot him and killed him. I still think about that. That still bothers me. So I know I'm not the only person. You know, I got locked up in prison as a teenager, 16 years old. That bothered me. I still suffer from that. Not only mentally, but still on the jobs, it affects me. I can't vote. I can't own a firearm legally. Like, those are things that's types of trauma that we go through, things that we some of us, not all, that we never really get over. And those are things that we have to stay before the Most High on consistently,
That's right.
you know. So
Mhm.
that's what inspired me through the Spirit of the Most High to put this lesson together.
Man, hallelujah. Because it's gonna help, it's gonna help us all. I know it's gonna help me as I was kind of just studying before the broadcast. And we were just behind the scenes. I said, man, there's gonna be some good eating. We all could use this. This is gonna help us out. Most High will. It's gonna feed us tonight through these scripts.
All
man.
praise. All
Hallelujah.
praise. Okay, Mike, did you find those different types of trauma?
Yeah, Hebrew, I found them. It was on the screen. I took them off. I thought you were done with them. I put them back up there.
No, I was just naming the main three, the top three. I had those in my notes. I was just going over.
My bad, Hebrew. I got it back on the screen for him.
Okay, all praise. Okay, you got trauma types. You gonna read that, bro, Mike?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
You got bullying, community violence, complex trauma, disasters, early childhood trauma, intimate partner violence, medical trauma, physical abuse.
Okay, let's go through them real slow, one by one. What was that first one?
Bullying.
Okay, you got bullying. I know some of us big and bad. My brother Mikael always accused me of being a bully growing up.
Yeah, you was, man. You was awful, man.
I don't remember being a bully, but if I was bullying a little bit, it was probably from the trauma that I had gone through that I was portraying off on other people. Because I was bullied in my household. I had to fight my brothers and cousins just about every day. So that same trauma that I was experiencing as a child, I took that to school with me. And the other kids that didn't have to go through the fighting and stuff all the time, they didn't want to fight. They just wanted to be friends and play. But because I was going through so much, I put my bullying off on them from the bullying that I was experiencing. So your trauma can affect other people that's attached to you. You can take your trauma and put it off on other people. And as we go on through the lesson, y'all gonna understand better what I'm talking about. Okay, what was number 2, bro, Mike?
Community violence.
Community violence. You got killings. We talk about it all the time. When you got young kids killing one another in your neighborhood, do that just affect the person that pulled the trigger and the person that got shot? Man, that's gonna affect all the person that got shot, family, the one that died. If he got kids, they gonna be affected. If he got a wife, they gonna be affected. His mama gonna be affected. His sister, brother, cousin, grandparents, everybody affected by his death. And then you got the one that pulled the trigger that killed him. His mama and daddy affected. His children, now they affected. His grandparents. But let's look at this thing. Why did he pull that trigger? What caused him to commit this community violence? What caused it? I can guarantee you one thing. If you look back through that Hebrew lineage, through his life, I guarantee you it was some type of trauma that he went through that caused him to be the type of person that'll kill another Hebrew. He done experienced some type of trauma in his own life. Because we all got slave trauma in our DNA. We all been traumatized through racism. Most of our parents, that's our age, that's my age, I'm 44, we come from the crack epidemic. We were neglected. We didn't have nobody. We had to learn everything on our own. You was either selling dope, or you were doing dope, or you was in jail for selling dope. Or you were robbing somebody to get some dope. So it was something that happened to that brother that pulled that trigger to commit that community trauma. So this how this thing all tie in, Hebrew.
It's all chain reaction. Like Sister Colette Parks put in the chat room, hurt people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It affect the whole neighborhood.
That's why
All
you
right, what
see
was the-
jokers run around acting out their frustration. They don't know what to do with it because there's nobody to talk to, like we're just saying, you know. I
Right.
see it in the school. I work in the middle school, right? I see these children acting out. It ain't no just a black thing. It's a different nation thing. Who do these people have to go to? And how often do we ignore them? They just a badass child. Everybody got time for them. And guess what? It waxes worse and worse within them.
But don't nobody ask that question, what caused it?
Right.
What type of trauma did this child have to experience to cause them to act this way? What type of trauma is this kid going through that he can't make the grades? Because kids are not just stupid. Even the kids that don't make good grades, they capable of making good grades. But it's some type of trauma that they experiencing in their life, whether they just disobedient, they just hard-headed, they don't want to listen to nobody. But why? Why? Why are they like that? See, that's the question that we got to ask ourselves, and we can get down to the root of the trauma. All right, Hebrew, what was the next one?
Oh, the next one is complex trauma.
Complex trauma. All right, what's the next one? That one's self-explanatory.
All right, you got the next one is disasters.
Okay. People are traumatized by disasters. You got somebody that experienced an earthquake. In that earthquake, they in their sleep. They wake up in an earthquake and they lose some loved ones in that earthquake. They gonna be traumatized for the rest of their life. Even a tornado, even a car wreck. You know what I'm saying? All of these different types of trauma people carry with them throughout their day, every single day of their life. And we have so much going on for our own selves. When things happen, we don't ask ourselves, well, why did that person do that? We just point the finger. They shouldn't have did that. They need to go to jail. They need to do this. They need to do that. But don't nobody ask, why? Why did you do that? And on the surface, they'll probably try to play hard in the beginning. But if you sit down with them and really talk to that person and listen to the things that's done happened to them throughout their life, I guarantee you it come from trauma. And I know other nations experience trauma too, but I'm only talking about my people. I'm not concerned with nobody else.
Israel only tonight.
That's right. Every night with me. All right, what's the next one, Hebrew?
The next thing we got coming up is early childhood trauma.
Early childhood trauma. And I want to touch on that. Because we all know one of them old perverted uncles that want the girl to sit on their lap all the time. They want to take the little girl to the store to get them some candy, get them some ice cream. Everybody, I don't care what nobody say. If you a Hebrew, every family had one of them people. If not one, they had several. And when those girls get big enough to tell it, it comes out. Uncle Henry molested me. Uncle Henry did this to me. Uncle Henry did that to me. Our cousin James did this to me. Our cousin James did that to me.
Yeah. But see, that when you say the law done away with, Hebrew, this opened up the door for the trauma to come in. This is what opened up the door, because you read in Leviticus, it tell you not to look up on your mama naked. Don't look up on your father naked. Don't look up on your auntie, your son. It gives you guidelines and instruction. But when we rejected it, what the Most High say in Hosea chapter 4 and 6, you reject my law, I'm gonna reject your children. So now here comes what? Family trauma.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Hebrew, go ahead.
And then the granddaddy or the uncle mess around and put a baby in one of the little girls. Now the family, everybody want to be quiet because don't nobody want to be ashamed. Don't nobody want to be humiliated. So they raised that child up knowing that that's their uncle child. That's their granddaddy child. Man, it was a lot of that going on with our four parents, bro.
Yeah. And then the first thing well, you need to stop lying. He wouldn't do nothing like that.
Yeah, they get mad at the girl. I done seen mamas do it. They'll put their daughters out about a old perverted boy, Negro.
Negro get full of that fire water and get to touching on everybody.
Yeah, and they do it to little boys too. They don't care. See, this is that family trauma. And I'm gonna tell you the worst. I'm gonna tell you the worst part about that, Uncle Walter. Don't nobody want to talk about it.
No, sir. See, this is a subject that people feel like, well, you don't need to be talking about that in the church.
Right.
Man, this
right.
is what we need to be talking about in the church.
And then they get grown and they find a great husband. And that man go through pure D hell with that woman. Not because of nothing he done, but because of what her granddaddy did to her when she was a baby. Because of what her uncle, her cousin, her brother did to her when she was a baby.
Or
She
vice
hated
versa.
him. Or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And now she can't even have a functional, healthy relationship. She have boys, get pregnant and have boys. She hate them.
Or you see the type of women that goes through that trauma of an uncle or a brother or sister or cousin messing with them, and when they have kids, you notice how very over protected they are. You ever seen that before, Hebrew?
Oh yeah.
How aggressive they are when somebody come around their kid.
Yeah. But
It's
from
something.
them having some type of trauma, bro.
That's right.
They done been through some trauma, and now they scared and they overprotective toward their children because they don't want the same thing to happen to their babies.
Man, I experienced that at the old class. I one of the teachers in the class, and it was a function that we had. I think we were doing like a community arms deal, right? And one of the young ladies came over. She just came over to ask a question. I'm sitting down, so she comes sitting next to asking a question about some things, and her mother came straight over. But knowing the history of the mother, what she'd been through, I understood where she was coming from.
Exactly.
You understand? But we was around a whole bunch of other people, but it wasn't the fact that it was a whole room full of people. It's just the fact that you just said her mother been traumatized so bad. She looked at her daughter and just saw a man there, and she went over there to save her daughter, which was nothing going on at all.
That's right. I'm going to tell you this. As a child, I was neglected so much because I had to bounce from house to house to house to house growing up. When I had my children, my wife used to wonder what was wrong with me. Bruh, I didn't let my kids stay all night with nobody. I mean, nobody. Don't even ask because you're going to get embarrassed. You get me in front of somebody asking you stay all night, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm telling you right now, you're not going. And it wasn't because the people was bad people. It was just I knew how much I got mistreated as a child growing up, and I wasn't finna allow my kids to go through it. And I could be wrong, I could be right. It don't matter. That's just how I was, and that's how I am. I'm the same way with my grandson. I don't care about him staying all night at nobody's house. You stay at home. Because people not going to treat your children the way you treat your children. And when you done went through that as a child and you've been traumatized like that, you always got your guards up. And you always ready to defend your children. You ready to hurt somebody. And that comes from family trauma. Was that the last one, Hebrew?
Oh no, Hebrew. We got plenty to go. We got intimate partner violence. That's domestic violence, brothers. So it's like the vest, still dealing with all these complex traumas. On top of that, you got what? Intimate partner violence. That's like, yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's domestic violence. Domestic violence ain't just putting your hands on it. It's also verbal. You get what I'm saying? Mental, yeah. So it's levels to that. I'm gonna let my brother take over but it's levels to that. So go ahead, bro.
Well, man, that can go both ways too. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm talking about the physical abuse too. Because nowadays in time, it's just about more men getting abused than it is women.
Exactly. And we see that on social media, how these women act out against these brothers. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier. What was her home life like? What trauma was she affected by in her house with mama and daddy, or when daddy was in the house? What did she see mama do?
And then see, our men in this society have been so docile, they have been put down so much to where you got a choice. You can either let her whoop you or you can go to jail. Them the only choices you got.
Mm-hmm.
You can let her whoop you or you can go to jail. But on the flip side of that, you got these old no good men that go out and do all type of things in the street, then want to come home, and when their wife say something to them, they want to put hands on them.
Mm-hmm.
Or they don't watch their daddy beat their mama.
Mm-hmm.
So they think it's okay. And the verbal abuse. You just talk to them like a dog. You just tearing their whole self-esteem down. And then when they leave you and get with somebody else, the next man got to suffer for it. Because now she damaged goods.
Yeah. You paying for somebody else's trauma. And it's just going the only way to get rid of you either got to talk to somebody and ask the Most High to get that off of your that's a heavy burden, because we see basically in relationships, man, we dealing with some kind of trauma and we bring that into our relationships, therefore causing domestic violence.
And bro, Mikael, to go back to what we talked about yesterday, every trauma that we dealing with tonight got a spirit associated with it. See, this is not just something that we dealing with in the physical realm. See, all of these things got spirits attached to them now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come into the truth of the Most High, you got to pray and fast and have the elders to pray over you, get baptized, keep the commandments to get these spirits off of you. So man, we finna get into these scripts, Hebrew. Let's look at Deuteronomy. You got something up?
No, I'm just ready for y'all, these scripts.
Okay. We finna look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're gonna look at verses 15 through 30. And we're gonna see that these are spirits that we dealing with. These are curses that we dealing with. This is a hit. This come from the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
See, we ain't just going through this stuff just by happenstance. We going through this stuff because of the sins of our foreparents. And that's why you got to break these generational curses, get rid of these generational traumas, so that you don't pass these things on down to the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation. So yeah, let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to look at verse 15 through 30.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, my brother.
I'm ready,
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. And it reads, "But it should come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and his statute, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, if you don't keep these commandments and these statutes, these curses, this trauma, these spirits, they gonna be up on you. They gonna attach themselves to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead, huh?
16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
Okay, now you tell me that to watch on a loop, to watch a black man get shot 40 times by the police on a loop now,
Mm-hmm.
in the city. It's on a loop on social media. You can watch it over and over and over. You gonna sit here and tell me that ain't traumatizing to you?
I know it is. Man, I can't even watch the video. Joe used to send me the video. I said, man, I don't want to see them videos anymore.
Cursed in the field.
Mm-hmm.
When we watch these slave movies and we see how them people beat, me and brother Mikael just watched that movie, that emancipation movie that Will Smith just did. Man, it was horrific. The things that they done on that movie to our people.
Mm-hmm.
That's trauma in the fields. And the Most High told us this was going to happen. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So when you got to work like a dog all your life, you got to go to these jobs and let these heathens treat you like crap. That's trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you can't get nothing without the heathen. And they make you know it too. Because on that movie, that heathen told Will Smith, he said, I'm your God. You live because I allow you to live.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to sit there and you got to listen to that dog tell you that, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. That's trauma.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we know history. You know, we know history. The reason why we in this mess. We can look at our own family members now who kicking, and when you bring this word to them, man, this we got to do. They kick against it. Them the same spirits that was on our forefathers got us in this mess. Verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body,
Your
and
children.
the fruit, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
We just got through talking about
Read that again, man. Read that again. They don't get it. I don't think they heard it, bro. Read it again.
Curse shall
go ahead.
Curse shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So the trauma that our children going through, that we try to protect them from, Scripture just told you. Curse shall be the fruit of thy body. That's your children. That's your eggs. That's your sperm. That's your seed. They got to go through trauma. And we can do everything we want to do to protect our children. But guess what? What the Most High say is going to be.
That's right.
And no matter how much you protect them, sooner or later, they're going to experience some trauma. Sooner or later, that curse right there is going to come up on them. And it's going to touch home. To your children, my children, and every other Hebrew man, woman, children. It's going to touch them. All right,
19. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Most High shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
Okay, when you got to sit there, I lost 2 uncles to cancer, lost my mama to cancer. When you have to sit there and watch your loved one body just dwindle before your eyes, that's trauma. You can literally, from day to day, you can watch their body that cancer just eat their body up until they take them away from here. And you got to watch that. That's a curse of Deuteronomy 28.
Mm-hmm.
That's trauma. We all love our mamas. It's hard to sit there and watch your mama go through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a curse. That trauma that come along with that, it come from the curse. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Verse 21. And the Most High shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee. He said he gonna make them cleave unto thee.
Talk about it.
Until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. He made this right here. Once he put it on you, it's on you, partner.
Huh.
He put them sickness and disease and stuff on it, and the thing you could do. This is gonna make it cleave to you, so it ain't going nowhere. Huh? It says plagues. What's that? Murrain. Cattle disease, cattle plagues. Hey man, he gonna curse not only you, he gonna curse your cattle.
Curse your
Everything
food.
you got, he'll put a curse on it. Boy, that's just like you going into your family, just like in your household. Not only curse you. You ever seen people, the whole family just curse and ain't nothing going right? I don't care who, even the next generation to come, they all caught in the same mess that their forefathers or their elders going through. You ever see it? You ever know a family like that?
Yeah.
You be like, damn, the grandchildren, even the babies jacked up. Well, he say gonna make it cleave unto you. Hey, ain't nothing you can do about that. Continue.
Yes, sir. We go
Verse 22. And the Most High shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Okay, the Lord shall smite thee with consumption. That word consumption right there in the Hebrew is shaheket. It means infections of the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
What did COVID-19 do to what did COVID-19 attack us at?
Man, the lungs.
In our lungs.
Yep.
And then it said, and with fever, and with inflammation of the lung,
Fever.
and with an extreme burning, and with the sword. That's a gun, that's a knife, that's a sword, that's a car, that's a missile. They shooting us down like dogs.
Man, you know what else attack the lungs? You know what else attack the lungs? Mildew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People, man, you have mildew in your house, man, gonna hit your lungs, partner.
It makes your breathing up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, verse 23, huh?
Verse 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass.
Stop
and
right
the
there.
earth.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Yes, sir.
I'm not hearing your prayers. I ain't hearing them. The heaven that's over you will be like brass. You sending them up, but they ain't going nowhere. All right,
You know what they turn around and try to do? You know what they turn around and try to do?
What's that?
They'll be like Saul. Hey man, can you go pray for me? Can you pray for me, man? Look, if your prayers ain't going through, he not even gonna hear the prayers of the righteous for you. When you done, you done.
Not for you.
Just like Messiah just used it for his. Remember, Messiah told Peter that Satan wanted to sift him as wheat, and he praying for him. Did he pray for Judas? Nope.
No, sir. No, sir.
Why would he didn't pray for Judas? Because hey, the Father ain't hearing him. Well, he wasn't gonna pray for him anyway because they're prophets. But the point I'm making is, you pray for the righteous. You over there getting whooped by the Most High. Hey, your hard-headed family members that you'd have been bringing this word to, and you've been ministering to them, and they making fun and doing, You know what they follow and everything, want to make fun of them. Then all of a sudden they get whooped real bad. Then everybody wants you to go over there and pray for him. He said, man, he ain't hear you. It's gonna be like brass, man. That is under that.
You better make sure that brother or that sister keeping the commandment.
Yeah.
Cause I'm gonna tell you that trauma and those curses, when they hit hard. Now, Satan gonna come after you if you tearing down his kingdom. That's one thing. But when you ain't keeping no laws and you going through a lot of stuff, that's because of your sin. Now, it's one thing to be working for the Most High and going through some things for the Most High, like Job, versus you out here living any kind of way, then want somebody to pray for you. The Most High said the heaven's gonna be like brass.
He said, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron.
You ain't even gonna be able to grow no food. you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. All right, go ahead, huh?
Verse 24. The Most High shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Yes, sir.
And the Most High shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed unto all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away.
Hey, Mike, which one of them Hebrew was it that they killed and they left laying in that ditch, Mike? Them police. What was it? What was that brother's name? Do you remember?
That was in Jasper, Texas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Jasper, Texas. That's right.
I forgot that guy's name. What's his last name? Was King though.
They killed him and just left him out there, huh?
Yeah, in the ditch.
And during slavery, they would put our ancestors in them trees, and they would wait on the crows and the wild birds of the air to come and eat their carcasses. Or they would leave them out there for the coyotes and the wild dogs to come and eat the insects.
And you know what they tell you?
Talking about.
Right. But you know what they tell you all the time? They tell you what this what police tell you. They what the heathen police tell you. They quick to tell you this. Well, I'm just doing my job.
He is.
He doing his job.
I sent him to do.
That's right. He told Satan, yes, Satan, you go on to do that, go on to do a man. That's the hit man. And then he go get his boy or his girl to do their dirty work. That's what they in the earth to do.
Hey, Hebrew, that dude name was James Bird. My bad. James Bird.
Okay, James Bird. Okay. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something else too. When the Most High allow that devil to come and do what he gonna do to you, he only doing his job.
That's it.
Hey, what was Pharaoh doing? Pharaoh was doing his job.
He was just doing his job, man.
What was Esau doing? What
his
Esau
job.
Doing his job. Judas
Putting
doing his job. Pilate doing his job.
Because he's gonna give everybody according to their work. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna get a reward. You gonna get your paycheck when he come for your works. So whatever you doing is your job.
Hey, you ever heard that saying? Write a check that your ass can't cash.
Right.
That what it's gonna be like too.
Just like you know, who's that? Jeremiah. Y'all correct me wrong, because you know, he told them, look, Jeremiah was telling them all the stuff that the Most High told them to do, and they said, hey man, we ain't doing that. Hey, the script said, hey man, they gonna reject him.
That's Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 15 through 18.
So if you go in and bring in script, hey, you know, sometimes you don't understand why you're doing it, but you doing your job, delivering the word to them. They doing their job by rejecting. So the scriptures may be fulfilled, people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Continue.
Where we stopped? 20. Where was that? 28, 27?
We're on 27.
Okay.
And the Most High will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. Put the itch on you. Verse 28. The Most High shall smite thee with madness and blindness and an astonishment of heart.
Hey, ain't that trauma?
Boy, that's trauma right there.
That's trouble there. You know, astonishment of the mind. That's Alzheimer's. That's schizophrenia. That's that's trauma, man. You losing your doggone mind. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Cause guess what? Not only is that person suffering trauma, all they loved ones suffering it too. Cause you gotta watch your parent go through the Alzheimer's. That's trauma, bro. And now in your mind, you got a word for the rest of your life. I got their DNA. Is that same thing gonna happen to me? Man, I got children. Is that gonna happen to my children? That's trauma. Trauma through the curses.
He said, man, he's gonna smite you.
This lesson. Trauma through the curses. That's what I should have named it.
Hey man, hallelujah, but it's still good though.
Yes,
check this
sir.
out. Now you wonder why Joker walk around with madness. We're not talking about just anger, is all kind of madness going on.
I was at a red light in Houston, Texas yesterday. I pulled up going into a truck stop, and there was a girl sitting out there. She couldn't have been no more than 27, 28. She was talking to herself. She looked up at me, and I waved at her. She just bust out laughing and dove back on the ground, just kicking and laughing. Then she jumped up and looked around like somebody scared her. Madness!
That's madness, bro. Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday. Man, you see Joker groping all day long, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
No destination, just groping. As the blind groper.
Looking for their next high.
Man, that's it.
They out there just running. Dude walked up to my truck yesterday. Hey, brother, man, I know it's hard times. I got my towel and stuff right here, man. Can I wash your rim? Can I clean your windshield? Can I clean your tires? I said, brother, I know you ain't gonna believe me when I tell you this. I can't afford to give you no money. I know you see me in this truck, but I can't even afford to give you no money right now. Oh man, I appreciate it. He walked off. But see, that brother groping in noonday, looking for his next high. Where it gonna come from?
He said, thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind grope in darkness. You don't know. You can't see your way going. You can't see nothing.
You don't know where you're gonna be from minute to minute.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
So, I'm gonna ask a question. Does oppression not bring about trauma?
Yeah.
Man, that's traumatizing.
Man, it's
to be
traumatizing,
oppressed
man.
as a people. And you know what? It brings about health issues. It brings about mental issues. It brings about emotional issues. Oppression brings all of that to the table. That's trauma. And see, on a regular day, we would look at these things that we talking about tonight. We wouldn't associate that with trauma. Just be real. We just wouldn't. Just on a regular day, we see this stuff every day. We don't associate that with trauma. We done got so desensitized to everything that go on with us, we just chop it up to life. Well, it's life.
It's part of it, man. And that's
You know what I'm
the mindset. That's the mindset we was in because that's what we was taught.
All right, last verse. Huh?
But check this out. He said, and spoil. Brother Mikael, hit that spoil in that 29, verse 29, 28, verse 29. He said, you're going to be spoiled, right?
Evermore.
Strong's H 1497. Gazelle.
Man, look at that definition, man. Look, to tear away, you're gonna be robbed. Joker always pulling them pistols and stuff on you. To siege. Who
Taxes.
man, yeah, there you go. Come and seize your property.
What they call that, eminent domain. They just come in and take your property.
Man, take your property. You ride back. You see folks getting kicked out of the apartment. You got furniture and stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Come and seize your cars because you can't pay for them. To be robbed, to be taken away. Taken away where? Into captivity. Hey man, now you can't tell me that this is not us and our people. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that's not us, man. That's somebody else. Boy, I'm about to say something. Don't try to keep it clean, man. Verse 30. You read the nephew? Verse 30.
That's Bud.
That Bud, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Let me expound on that a little bit.
Go ahead.
This ain't just a white man or whatever country or whatever part of the earth that we was carted off to or carried into these nations. You got your wife messing around on you. Another man gonna sleep because you cursing. Can I read? Hey, let me bring something in there. I'm gonna show you something. I know this is a spiritual meeting.
Bring it out. Oh, bring it out.
Let's go to Hosea chapter. I'm just gonna slide this in here, nephew, if you don't mind. I'm not trying to take it.
Go ahead.
But check this out. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4. Now, we know that this is a spiritual thing dealing with Yisrael, right? And his people go on whoring and everything. But we can put this in the script. Check this out. I'm going to look at Hosea chapter 4. And I want to pick this up. Let's pick it up at 8. I'm going to read 8 through 14. And it reads, they eat up the sins of my people, and they set their hearts on their iniquities. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them for their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the Elohim. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. So you want to go and deal with some other entity than deal with me. We know that on the spiritual level, right? My people ask counsel at their stock, and their staff declareth unto them, for the spirit of whoredom has caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their God. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountain and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplar and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. So they go on hitting up wherever they could go whoring, that's where they at. Therefore, your daughters shall commit whoredom, your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery, for themselves are separated with whoredom. For they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore, the people that doeth not understand shall fall.
Shall fall.
Look, why you think that every time we talking about for a spiritual, since you spiritual whoring with other gods, and you don't want to take heed to the Elohim, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When your wife go to whoring on you and your daughter's out here whoring and everything, she can go out there and whore and everything, and she'll go divorce you. I'm not going to punish her. I'm going to just sit back and look at you whoring on me. She whoring on you. So what you want me to do to her that you don't want me to do to you?
But they don't give you a license to go out there and do it now.
They don't give you a license. You pull that foolishness if you want to. Because spiritually speaking, when the church or his bride went a whore, and he got rid of them. Both houses. Look at us sitting over here in this filthy land. And some of these people loving it. I just want to throw that in there, brother, because we were reading that script right there.
No, all praise. That's a nice precept. I appreciate that. All
So-
right, brother Mikael. You got something?
Say what, Hebrew? Unc nailed it, man. He took it out of the park, because we see that we all, we got brothers that went through that trauma. You know what I'm saying? Of spouses, or your wife stepped out, or maybe your husband stepped out. So we know that causes trauma. So yeah, that's all. Unc brought a good, excellent precept out.
Now here's the other trauma with it. Now the family break out. Guess who got to hit guess who can't stay in the house? The husband.
That's right.
The head, so-called supposed to be head of the house.
He
Now
got to
that's
go.
some more trauma right there, because daddy gone.
Now the children open for all type of trauma.
There you go.
'Cause
Now
then
three
what
of the kids that look like the daddy, and the other kid that don't look like the daddy, when they get older, he sure don't look like daddy, dude. Then they ask the question.
And guess what? That next Negro that come in now, liable to be a pedophile, liable to be a child abuser. Ain't no telling what kind of characteristics he might have, but he coming in there over your kids now.
Mm-hmm.
That's more trauma. Now you and your wife hate each other guts, so the kid got to see y'all not liking each other now. So now that's trauma on them too. See, man, look, it's kind of like a fungus. Cause that fungus, I watched a National Geographic show today, and it's an ant. An ant was down there, and it's a fungus that'll go up in a tree, and it'll shoot its seeds out, and it'll land on top of that ant head, and he'll go down off into that ant head, and he'll take control of the ant brain, and that ant will go up there to the top of the tree, and he'll bite down on something hard as he can, and when he bite down on it, that fungus will kill him, and when he die, that fungus will sprout out of him. I mean, it just go everywhere, all different type of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then take over him. And then when he sprout out, when the wind blow, it do the cycle all over again. And that's the way trauma is. It spew itself in every direction.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody get hit. And when it gets in your body, when that trauma get in your body, man, it causes you anxiety. It causes depression. It causes health problems. It causes anger. It causes hatred. It causes defiance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't just come out in one way. It just like that fungus do that ant. It'll get inside of your body and it just take over and it just spew out. And now you got a dysfunctional person groping at noonday like a blind man in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Don't know where he headed.
Don't know where he going. All right, bro, Mikael. Let's bring out that first video. I'm gonna give you the timestamps on the Hebrew. On that first one, we're gonna start it. We're gonna go to the 5 minute and 30-second mark.
All right, Hebrew, let me get it up there for him. My bad. I had stepped away for a second.
Okay, you good. You good. Hey.
We want the first one, right?
Yeah, come on now, technician. Come on now.
Hey, don't do me now. Hey.
What you doing over there, Tech? What you doing? Act like got a liar now. What you doing over there now?
Brian, they look like him. I thought they were Brian.
White comfort trumps black liberation. White comfort trumps black freedom. White comfort trumps black joy. White comfort trumps. If that is not addressed, it will slide in and be behind the scenes and you won't even know it's there.
Fair use on the video. Fair use. Fair use.
America has seen Black trauma play out for years.
If you want to survive, do and say as little as possible.
Through movies about slavery and racial terror in all its forms. And even more viscerally in real life, with every case of police harassment and violence against Black people. After George Floyd's murder at the hands of police, the country finally started waking up to systemic racism and the silent trauma it inflicts.
We need justice right now!
There's growing research into racism's real impact on the body, especially how stress can impact health and how your DNA works. Resmaa Menakem, a therapist and trauma specialist, has been drawing on this research for years. In the months following Floyd's death, his 2017 book about racialized trauma made it to the New York Times bestseller list. We checked in with him in May.
So you're a therapist and racial trauma expert. If you could define what racial trauma is.
Yeah. So for me, racial trauma is number one, the idea that the white body is the supreme standard of humanness. Me and you were born into a structure by which the white body deemed itself the human standard, right? And we were considered to be the deviants from that human standard. And so the trauma element is that it is unceasing, it is pervasive, it is persistent, right? And it is woven in and around and through every institution, along with something not reparative. So it's not just that something bad happened to you, it's that something bad happened to you and there was no reprieve.
You talk about in your book that white supremacy literally, not just figuratively, lives in our blood, our DNA expression, our nervous system.
Absolutely.
Can you break down what that actually means?
Yeah. I come from a people that were brutalized, raped, could not run, could not flee, terrorized, their towns burned up, girls blown up in the church, right? All of that stuff for 250 years was happening to me or to my people. When somebody is brutalized, there are particular things that happen to the nervous system. One of them is that there is a release of adrenaline. There's a release of cortisol. There's a release of norepinephrine. And those things are designed to get you out of danger or help you fight or flee out of danger. And those things are only supposed to be in your nervous system for short bursts of time. But what if the thing that is dangerous doesn't leave for 250 years? What happens to all of that adrenaline? What happens to all of that cortisol? What does it do to the DNA expression? One of the things about DNA expression is it's designed to turn things on and off on the DNA. There is a certain kind of thing that makes that DNA say, be hypervigilant. Well, look for things. This place is dangerous. Don't look white people in the eyes. But it's unspoken. We have it in our bodies as notions. So imagine that going down just from one line all the way down. And by the time it gets to me and you, we have this sense that something is off. We have this vibratory sense, and we don't have a language for it. Time decontextualizes trauma, right? So trauma in a person looks like personality, can look like personality over time. Trauma in a family can look like family traits over time. Trauma in a people can look like culture over time.
What are some examples
Absolutely.
of culture?
Hey, stop that right there, Mike. Stop that right there.
A braided switch, right? That was braided and put behind.
Okay, now what the brother just said was really deep. He said trauma over time can look like a personality. He said trauma over time can look like a culture. Now think about that. I mean, let's really think about that, Hebrew. Trauma over time becomes a culture. Mike, I know you remember the story that I told you my granddaddy told me that day.
Mm-hmm.
When they told me my granddaddy was older than the white man, and my granddaddy kept saying, "Sir," and I pulled my granddaddy pant leg. I said, "Daddy," I said, "you older than him. Why you keep shh, be quiet, boy. Be quiet. Don't say that. And don't look at that white man." I said, "Why?" I didn't understand that. But because he told me that, over time, I thought that was our culture. And that's what that brother talking about. That trauma over time can look like a culture.
Right.
You don't want to be in a elevator with a white woman at 3 o'clock in the morning, because you know only thing that white woman got to do is say rape or assault. So without you even thinking about it, if you and this white woman walking up to this door at the same time at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you get ready to put your key in, and she come up behind you and she get ready to go in the building, without you even thinking, your DNA gonna tell you, "Hey, wait a minute, let her go head on." Ain't nobody got to tell us that. Why? Because the trauma has become a culture for us.
Mm-hmm.
We know the do's and the don'ts in this society. And it looked like a culture. It looked like a personality, but it's really trauma. That's crazy, man.
It's crazy,
And
man.
like I said, we experience these things on a daily, but we don't associate none of this with trauma. Why? Because it's become a culture. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Behind her and my grandfather's picture, and every time you look up, you see that switch, right? If we got out of line, right, my grandmother would whoop us, right? You know, get your butt back in line, whoop us. Well, think about 250 years of whippings, of rearing, of brutality on the black body. I believe that whoopings is a traumatic retention from whippings. These are the things that we have to examine, right? And the same thing happens for white folks, right? White folks have never examined the 1,000 years of brutality that they experienced at the hands of other white folks through the Middle Ages, through 1,000 years of that Euro violence.
Okay. When we started back up, Mike, we gonna go to the 7-minute and 15-second mark when we started back up. Okay. Now, we talked about that trauma. And through those trauma comes tears. From a people being treated this way, it brings about tears. Because that's painful. It's depressing. I tell y'all what, so let's go to Psalms chapter 147. And let's see how the Most High feel about this thing, man. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 147. And we're going to look at verse 3. Psalm 147 and verse 3. We'll go verses 1 through 3.
1 through 3. Okay. Psalms chapter 147, verse 1. Praise ye the Most High, for it is good to sing praises unto our Elohim. For it is good pleasant, and praise is comely. The Most High does build up Jerusalem. He gathered together the outcasts of Israel. He healed the broken in heart and banded up their wounds.
So in the Most High is healing. In the Most High, he healeth the brokenhearted, and he bindeth up our wounds. So in going through all of this trauma, we got to take that thing to the Most High. because that's where our healing comes from. Okay, let's look at in the same book, 51, chapter 51, verse 17. Because we finna give our people, the medicine for this trauma. We finna get some medicine now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get us some medicine. All right, 51 and 17.
Psalms 51 and verse 17. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit.
So your sacrifice to the Most High, because we all know that Yeshua was the ultimate sacrifice. But a broken and contrite heart is like a sacrifice before the Most High. It's pleasing to him. He can accept you that way. So when you come into him with that broken spirit and that contrite heart, you know what you're doing. You coming sincere. You coming to him like a child. You coming at him with innocence. Ain't no faking and jaking when you broken and you got a contrite spirit. Ain't no faking and jaking in that. That's why he say it's like a sacrifice unto him. All right, go ahead,
A broken and a contrite heart, O Elohim, thou wilt not despise.
He will not despise that person that come to him with that broken spirit and that contrite heart, because to him it's like a sacrifice. It's pleasing in his sight. It's a sweet smelling, savory odor in his nostrils. All right. Isaiah chapter 57, and we're gonna look at verse 15.
Isaiah chapter 57. Isaiah chapter 57 and verse 15. For thus saith the Most High and Lofty One that inhabited eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit. Hold on for a minute.
Okay, the Most High say, I dwell in the high place, with him also that is of a contrite, humble spirit. So the Most High say, I dwell with you. I'm with you. You in my presence. I got you. See, these are the characteristics. These are the traits, and these are the spirit that we have to go to the Most High in when we coming through this trauma, and we looking for a healing from that thing. We got because that precept, they still talking about a contrite spirit, a broken heart, and a contrite spirit. You coming humbly. You coming. You pouring out your heart to the Most High. You don't have an ulterior motive, so to speak. You laying it all on the line. And to get a healing from that trauma, that's what we got to do,
That's right.
That's how we got to come. You can't come worried about. King David, when he was dancing, and his wife said, you went out there and made a fool of yourself. King David wasn't worried about how he looked to nobody. Because he was coming to the Most High with a contrite spirit and with a humble heart. And it was pleasing in the sight of the Most High.
That's right. Because if you really want that thing removed from you, that's how you're going to come to him.
That's right.
Because we got to remember, we just can't come just any kind of way. If you want that thing removed, to revive the spirit of the humble and to revive the heart of the contrite ones.
And then verse 18 says, I have seen his ways and will heal him. I will lead him also and restore comforts unto him and to his mourners. So the Most High said, I'm going to heal you if you come to me in this spirit. But this is how you got to calm now. Okay. The Most High keeps track of our tears. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1 through 3.
All right. Isaiah chapter 61. Wait on Micaiah to get there. And it reads, the Spirit of the Most High Yah is upon me, because the Most High had anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Okay, so us as men of the Most High, this is the reason why we have to already be in this spirit, because the Most High might choose to use us at any given moment to be a comforter to the brokenhearted, to speak a word to somebody that's going through a trauma. That's the reason why he said be ready at all times.
Man, we see the brokenhearted every day, every time we step outside. Just
That's
like
right.
the woman hollering on there, we need them to give us justice. That's brokenhearted.
Yeah, that woman was hurt, man.
Yep. And check
All right,
this
go ahead.
out. And to open up the prison of them that are bound. Man, are not a whole lot of people are in prison? Look at them. They are captives of Satan. We've been through some scripts on that.
That's
Satan
right.
got them bound in prison in their own, and we talking about spiritual speaking now.
Yes, sir.
Look at our family. Our family, we look at our family members and people around us, they are in prison.
But these traumas got them in prison. These traumas. See, these people, they can't get past their trauma to get to the healing of the Most High.
That's
See,
right.
that trauma is holding them back from reaching the comfort giver. They have every excuse in the world why they can't keep these commandments. They have every excuse in the world why they don't believe we the Hebrews of the Bible. They have every excuse in the world why they gonna keep going to the Sunday church. But most of their trauma come from the church. So you can't reach your healing, you can't reach your deliverance from your trauma because you're still in the midst of it. You still wrapped up in it. It ain't nothing like a fool that don't know they're a fool.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 2, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Most High and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn.
To comfort all them mourn. Go ahead.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning.
Yes, sir.
The garments of praise for the spirit of heaviness.
Yes, sir.
That they might be called trees of righteousness. The planting of the Elohim, that he might be glorified.
Yes, sir. So that's where we got to go to get that healing from our trauma. We got to get in these scriptures. We got to pray. We got to study. We got to fast. And we got to seek this thing diligently and come to the Most High with that contrite heart and with that humble spirit. And the Most High will deliver you from these traumas. And he'll lead you to what you need. And like I said in the beginning, I'm not a doctor. I know a lot of Hebrew men, they'll probably say, man, I don't need no doctor. All I need is the Most High. All praises. But that's you though, brother. That's you. That's all you need. But you don't know what the next person needs. Because you don't know what the next person been through.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't make their faith no weaker than yours because they might need to go to the doctor or they might need to go to a therapist. Their faith ain't no weaker than yours. It's just that that person is probably not as strong as you are.
Mm-hmm.
That person probably done been through some stuff that you ain't been through. So they might be physically weak, but that don't mean they spiritually weak. So, you know, let's encourage our people to seek and get what they need to get past their trauma.
That's right.
All right.
But we know that word. We understand the word. But like you said, there are some stepping stones you got to touch on. You know.
Right.
You know. Then with the word of the word of the Most High guiding you, say, hey, you might go talk to this person over here because I can put my word in anybody's mouth.
That's right.
He put it in the donkey's mouth, did he?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he put it in anybody's mouth.
And yeah, like I was saying, you know, I'm not putting no limitations on what the Most High can do. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you got children, right? You got 3 children. One of your kids, you might know how to, you love them up a little bit, they good. That second child, they might require a little bit more love than that first child. Then that third child, you might have to show up for a lot of love in that child. It's not that one is better than the other one. It's just that they all different. And the Most High deal with us according to how he made us. He know everything about us. He even know how many hairs we got on our head.
That's right.
Most High even count the tears we shed.
Mm-hmm.
He know. All right.
Whether you crying on the outside or the inside, but he knows.
That's right, Okay. The Most High blesses those who mourn. Let's look at Psalm chapter 56, verse 8.
Psalm chapter 56. Let me get there.
56 and 8.
Psalm chapter 56 and verse 8. Thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in that book?
All right, go to 9 too.
Verse 9. When I cry unto thee, then shall my enemies turn back. This I know, for Yah is for me.
You reading what chapter you in on?
Psalms.
56. You in 56, verse 8. Okay. Now let's look at Psalms 126, verse 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm. 126. So all we gotta do is just trust in him, man. He got us.
Yes, sir.
But this right, his words of encouragement, man.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Read that Isaiah 61. That's right. Psalm 126 and verse 5. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth in weeping, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaf with him. Hallelujah.
So the Most High got us, man.
Mm-hmm.
He got us. And through these scriptures, he reiterated time after time after time after time. And he said that he got us in so many different ways. It's a beautiful thing because he's reassuring us, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He reassuring us. If you doubt me, I'm gonna keep on telling you how much I love you. I'm gonna keep on telling you how I got you back. I'm gonna keep on telling you I'm gonna deliver you.
Mm-hmm. Because like we just read, hey man, to come and heal the brokenhearted. When you going through this trouble, that's brokenhearted, brother. Like we said in the lesson. This right here, this is what the Most High is doing to us tonight. He healing us, brother.
All praise to the Most High.
Because like I say all the time, man, hey, I'm being healed. I know I got some things to work on. See, when you confess those things, you got to let that stuff out. It's just like we said earlier in the lesson. People, hey, some of these young people, even adults, still to this day, they can be carry this thing on all the way from childbirth, like the guy said in the video. But they still holding on because they haven't let it go yet. And you see, that's why you still see people, elders now in their late 60s, 70s, 80s, still acting out.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to share that with the family, man. Now we understand why people act the way they do.
All right, let's go to Psalm chapter 13.
Psalm chapter 13.
And we're going to read 1 through 5.
Yes, sir. Psalm chapter 13, verse 1. This is to the chief musician, a psalm of David. How long wilt thou forget me, O Elohim, forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall my enemies be exalted over me?
This David, hey, this David, he talking to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
See,
he has some questions.
And I remember growing up in the church, they told us you ain't supposed to do that. But no, that's a lie. We gotta talk to the Most High.
Man, that's right. See, that's the devil don't want you to talk to him.
That's right.
Because he might turn around and tell you, you know that pastor just told you that, you know that's the damn devil over there.
That's right. That's right.
He's been traumatizing y'all this whole time.
Y'all don't talk to the devil. Y'all don't talk to God. I go to God and I deliver the message to y'all. Use a lie and the truth ain't in you. I don't need you to talk to God for me.
Right.
I can talk for myself.
Man, verse 3. Consider and hear me, O Elohim, my El. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep and sleep of death. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trust in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice. Yes, sir. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation.
So that's where our joy is at. It's in the salvation of the Most High. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's good news there.
Great news, huh? All right, bro, Mikael, you ready?
Let's go, Hebrew. What do you need?
All right, let's pick back up at that 7:15 mark on that video. 7:15, 7 minutes, 15 seconds.
When we look at how you connect white supremacy and neuroscience, I think it'd be really helpful to just kind of hear you talk through what the soul nerve is, as you call it.
There is a nerve that comes out of the brainstem, and it hits in the pharynx. Pieces of it hit in the face. It hits in the chest. It hits in the belly. It goes on. It's called the vagal nerve or the vagus nerve. The vagal nerve is responsible for helping you notice environmental vibrations, what's potentially dangerous, right? And so this is why we have things like gut reactions to something. You meet somebody and you go, I don't quite know about that person, but something's telling me, right? You don't really have the words to describe what it is, but you know you're picking up on something.
How does it explain police interactions?
There's this idea, one idea out here called triune brain. And the triune brain is the neocortex, the mammalian part of the brain, and then the lizard brain. The lizard brain is actually one of the oldest parts of the brain that was mostly tied to our survival, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, those types of things. When an officer comes upon a black body, there are these things that light up in the lizard brain that are about fight, flight, freeze, fawn. One of the things that can happen is that the vagal nerve can constrict and protect, and people will feel a visceral experience of bracing. And they come out of a society that in which they have been conditioned to see the black body as impervious to pain, right? The black body that must be subdued with extraordinary amount of force because their bodies are different and they are different and they will destroy you if you don't take some type of lethal stance. And many times that bracing goes unexamined throughout the course of people's lives, but it also goes unexamined throughout the course of police officers being trained.
And so you've consulted with police departments. What kind of reaction do you get when you talk to them about white body supremacy?
They don't really like it because they think that all they have to do is tweak around the edges, right? They don't believe that this is structural, not episodic. There is a commitment that many police departments don't want to make, right? And that is that a lifetime commitment towards uprooting white body supremacy, right? A lifetime commitment towards helping police officers understand their own bodies and how they have been conditioned by a structure that by which the white body has deemed itself the supreme standard, regardless of what color those police officers are.
As far as healing work, where does one even begin? How can a Black person start to heal racial trauma?
Right. One of the first things that we have to do is we have to acknowledge that something has happened and continues to happen to us, right? And it's not a figment of our imagination. One of the things I say to Black bodies all the time is, you are not defective. You're not defective. The system and the structure would have you believe that you're fraudulent and you're an imposter because you don't quite measure up to the white body standard, right? In a myriad of different ways. And so healing really does involve reclaiming pieces that were put aside in order to survive what it is that we're dealing with right now. And so for me, it really does. It's about how do we turn towards each other as opposed to turning on each other.
Is it possible to heal racial trauma if you're still in that same environment that is trauma-inducing?
I'm not sure we're going to get to a place to where the impact of white body supremacy is alleviated. It's gone, right? I think, though, in the meantime, we have to continue to work towards healing. Right? We have to continue, because the alternative is to accept what it is and not fight and not try and create a world that is more responsive to what Black bodies and brown bodies need, right? And so one of the most beautiful things is this group down in Atlanta, and they have what they call a NAP ministry. Right? It's called the NAP Ministries. And basically what they're doing is it really is revolutionary. What they're actually saying is that Black bodies should rest. Now that may sound like, oh, that's not a big deal. Napping, what's napping? But napping to a people who have been taught to override any rest, any sense of themselves, right, is a huge philosophical thing. And it can shift a whole structure. Those are the pieces of reclamation. So I believe we can do that at the same time that we're moving towards and doing things to actually dismantle and abolish this structure as it currently stands.
All right, Hebrew. Appreciate that, bro, Mikael. All right, let's look at this thing. The Most High can handle our anxiety. The Most High can handle our anxiety. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 7.
Yes, sir.
Because the Most High, he can handle the anxiety that we deal with in this society. Because we are in a constant state of anxiety throughout our days. When we leave the house in the morning, we got to be on 10,
Mm-hmm.
Because at any given time, we know that we can be facing a life-threatening situation at the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
our anxiety levels bring about high blood pressure. It brings about
All right, nephew, we cut off. Plug it back in there,
we
nephew.
have in our life.
Hey, nephew.
Yes, sir.
Hey, start over, Stephen, because you was cut off.
Okay. I was saying that the Most High can handle the anxiety that we deal with. Because, you know, as black men, as Hebrew men in America, when we step out of our doors to go to work each day, we know that we can probably not make it home on any given day back to our families. So that brings about anxiety, which brings about high blood pressure, brings about high cholesterol, brings about frustration. It brings about arguments in the home. It brings about taking it out on your kids. So the Most High can handle that anxiety for us if we allow him to. So, like I said, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 7 and see what the scriptures got to say about that anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start at verse 6. We're going to do verse 6 and 7.
Man, hallelujah. Because I sure will ask you, can I read it too?
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Elohim.
Humble yourselves up under his hand.
That's right. That he may exalt you in due time. Not yourself. Verse 7, casting all your cares upon him, for he cared for you.
So all of that anxiety that we have, we got to cast that thing up on the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to leave it there. I'm talking about for real, leave it there.
That's right.
All
we can't
right.
go back and keep meddling with it. And you know, because he said he going to exalt you in due time. So whatever his time is, that's when he going to
back picking it up. He can't.
There you go. That's right. Now you doubting him now.
We got to really give it to him.
You know how, you know, your child come to you about something and you say, okay, I'm going to take care of it. But it ain't like right off the bat. No, I'm going to use something better than that. I'm going to keep it 1,000. You know how your rib come to you and want you to do something? You say you're going to take care of it. They stand up there like they want it now. Would that not get on your nerve? So you doubt me, I'm not going to do this? If I told you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I want you to do it now. Now you're getting on my nerve now because you think it ain't going to do it. I didn't want to throw that out there, man. We can't have that spirit or that mindset when we get, you know, when we go to him like that.
The Most High said he going to do it in due time.
In due time.
All right. Psalm chapter 55 and verse 22. And then we're going to look at 56, 3 and 4.
Psalm chapter 55.
22. Yes, sir. 55 verse 22.
And it reads, cast thy burden upon the Most High, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
To be moved. So when you cast your burden up on the Lord, he gonna sustain you. And he not gonna suffer you to be moved. But you got to really give it to him, though. You got to really lead that thing there now. All right. Chapter 56, verse 3 and 4.
Psalm 56 and verse 3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In Yah, I will praise his word. In Yah, I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me.
So that anxiety that we have about living in this country and not knowing if we're gonna make it back home to our wife and children. The Most High say, don't worry about the one that can hurt your flesh.
Mhm.
Cast it up on me. Let me worry about it. Let me deal with it. I can handle it better than you can. Because you can't do nothing with it. I got this. But you got to trust me.
Mhm.
You got to trust me now. All right. The Lord is a refuge to the house of Israel.
Mhm.
The Lord is a refuge for the house of Israel. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 4. And it reads, "For thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm,
What
a
storm?
shadow."
The storm
That's
of
right.
life. The storm of life. Go ahead,
Mhm. A shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall.
Read 5.
Thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers, as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branches of the terrible ones shall be brought low.
So the Most High say, let me handle Esau. I'm going to bring his branches down low, which means I'm going to destroy him.
Mhm.
All right, we're going to stay in that same book right there. We're going to go
Yes,
to
sir.
chapter 29 and look at verse 19. Because I want a witness for that thing.
Mhm. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in their Holy One of Israel.
So, like I said, the Lord is a refuge for Israel. He's our refuge. All right, one more place. Let's go to 33 and 2, same book. Because Isaiah, he reiterating this thing.
Mhm.
He want us to get it.
We got a sure word of prophecy.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 2. O Elohim, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arms every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble.
Read 3 for me,
At the noise of the tumult, the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself, the nations are scattered.
Yes, sir.
Read up, continue.
No, you good. You good.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is a refuge for the house of Israel. You know, and though other nations might be going through trauma, but the Most High said, I'm for y'all. He said, I chose you above all nations of the earth to be my people. And I'm going to be your God. So his healing for trauma is for the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember that. We can't get caught up in worrying about our oppressors' trauma. Because my question I'm going to ask you is, what trauma? What trauma? Because he got everything. So don't come to me talking about no other nation of people trauma. I don't want to talk about nobody but Israel trauma.
Mm-hmm. Because he showed assured us in Deuteronomy 30 what he gonna do then. He gonna put some trauma and some drama on him.
He sure is.
Because he said all we gotta do is return back to him wholeheartedly with all our heart, mind, and soul. Like you said, man, we got to bring it, everything and put everything on him.
We got to.
Then he gonna start healing us. And then he
guess
gonna put
what?
them same. Yes, sir.
The Most High loved the afflicted of Israel. He loved the afflicted. Because you know, one thing about an afflicted person, they humble.
Mm-hmm.
When you catch a person that's afflicted, they sincere and they humble and they serious about that thing.
Just like
And
when
that's
you
why.
go. Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's why when you go and talk to the homeless, like downtown or wherever, they very humble.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit down, you can learn a whole lot just by talking to them. They can tell you a story. And one thing that's gonna come out of their mouth, they know that we are Israel. Go talk to them and find and talk to. Take some time out and talk to the people instead of looking at them like they ain't shit. Excuse my language, but I'm just keeping it 1,000.
But the Most High loved the afflicted. He loved the afflicted of Israel. I can prove it. Let's go to Lamentations chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
I can prove it. I ain't just talking. I can prove it. We're gonna prove.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 3.
Mm-hmm. Lamentations of Jeremiah. Chapter 3, verse 31 through 33.
Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 31. For the Most High will not cast off forever, but through his cause grief. But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. For he does not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men.
Read 34.
To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth.
And 35.
And to turn aside the right of a man's before the face of the Most High.
Okay. Now, let's precept that thing with Hebrews chapter 12, verse 9 and 10.
Hebrews. For the Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 10.
9 and 10.
9 and 10. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we may be partakers of his holiness.
All praises to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful scripture there.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. One more. Ezekiel 33 and 11.
Man, we need the head busting, man.
We need it sometime.
Man, you can't. Man, don't be saying. Don't be trying to tear me down, man. No, we need this, bro.
You can't judge me.
Can't judge me. Who you think you are?
You can't judge me. The Bible say thou shalt not judge. Where it say that at?
Yeah. See, lest thou be judged. Ezekiel 33 and verse 11.
That's right.
Say unto them, as I live, said the Most High Yah, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
Okay, hold on. He said, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked. You know why he ain't got no pleasure in the death of the wicked? Because it's his wish that we all repent.
That's it.
It's his wish that we all repent and keep his commandments and get the kingdom. That's why he said, I have no joy in the death. I ain't got no joy in your death. If you wicked, I was hoping you would have got the commandments. I was hoping you would have lived them out. I was hoping you would have repented.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no joy in the death of a wicked man. Because now I know what I got to do to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you. You my people, Israel. I love you.
When I see you, I see me. If we talking about in the you know, with all the components thereof.
Yeah.
But the wicked part, like he said, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live.
That's right.
Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Yisrael?
And when he talking about die, he ain't just talking about your physical death. He talking about your eternal death.
Yeah. Your spiritual dead. You spiritual dead while you're walking, and then you in the second death. You double dead.
All right, Unc, I'm gonna hit a couple more. Where we at? We almost at the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna hit a couple more and we're gonna get up out of here.
Man, this is a good lesson here, bro. This is a much needed lesson here, bro.
And all praise to the Most High.
I hope and pray that the Most High for spirit. Mm-hmm.
We gonna end it with this. The Lord renews us every day.
Hallelujah.
The Most High renews us every single day. If we repent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16.
Second Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet an inward man is renewed day by day.
Read 17 too,
For our light afflictions, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Go ahead and read 18 too. We're going to take it out with 18.
Yes, sir. Why we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
All praise to the Most High. All right, let's look at Zechariah chapter 8. I just got a couple of one-hitter quitter right here.
Yes, sir.
Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8. Chapter 2 and verse 8. My bad. Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8.
Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8. For thus saith the Most High of hosts, or the Elohim of hosts, after the glory has he sent me unto the nations which spoil you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye.
Huh. So for our oppressors that's causing us all of this trauma, what the Most High say one more time?
Read that 8 again.
Yes, sir.
For thus said the Elohim of hosts, after the glory has he sent unto me the nations which, unto the nations which spoil you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. Check this out, verse 9, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and ye shall know that the Elohim of hosts has sent me. Oh, y'all got something coming.
Hey, they got something coming.
And we're gonna see some trauma on them.
Let's go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 1. We're gonna look at verse 3 through 7.
Yes, sir.
2 Corinthians chapter 1. We're gonna read verse 3 through 7.
2 Corinthians. to 2 Corinthians chapter
3, chapter 1, verse 3 through 7.
3 through 7. And it reads, Blessed be Elohim, even the Father of our Master Yeshua HaMashiach, the Father of mercies and the Elohim of all comfort, who comfort us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of Elohim.
Yes, sir.
For as the suffering of Hamashiach abound in us, so our consolation also aboundeth by Hamashiach.
Yes, sir.
And whether we be afflicted, it is for our consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same suffering which we also suffer. Or whether we be comforted, it is for our consolation and salvation. And our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that as ye are partakers of the sufferings, so shall ye be also. Yes, sir. So shall ye be also of the consolation.
So with that being said, family, just know that though we go through this suffering, we will also be partakers of the consolation. And what is the consolation? The consolation is if we hold on to the end, if we can just hold on, we'll get that consolation and we'll get the kingdom. So the trauma that we have gone through and that we're going through, let's cast that thing on the Most High. Let's cast that thing on His Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Let's keep these commandments and endure to the end, because even though we go through the suffering, we share in the suffering, we also gonna share in the consolation. And with that being said, family, hey, I hope y'all enjoyed the lesson. I hope that one of us brought something out that was edifying to you. We pray that the Most High bless your ears, that you got something from the lesson. I hope you took notes and wrote the scriptures down. And it's my pleasure to be here before you tonight. I appreciate y'all listening. Hey, because I'm nothing special for y'all to listen to the lesson that I brought out tonight, but I really appreciate it. And I give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yah.
Man, hallelujah. Man, I really enjoyed that, man. It helped me out, nephew. Man, it really helped me out, man. And it's an uplifting in the spirit, just assuring us, hey, all we got to do, let's stop harboring this stuff in and let's take it to our Elohim. He said that He gonna check that for us, but we have to humble ourselves and go before Him if we want that removed from our spirit. Hallelujah.
That's right. That's right.
Beautiful lesson, man. Beautiful. I do have announcements. We will be online only tomorrow. We did have some things set up, but we had to make some adjustments. Most High willing, this coming, the following, we'll deal with that when it comes, but we will be just online only. We will not meet at the hotel for the one or day class, the Shabbat day class. So with that being said, that's all I have. Again, thank everyone for tuning in, for fellowshipping and just hanging out with us. We try to bring what the Most High given us to you guys, and we try to put it in practical application ourselves. So continue to study this book. Like he said, write these scriptures down. If you have to go back over this lesson, share it with someone out there is hurting. Just share the video. Sometimes we don't have the right words for them, but we can share these videos and say, hey, take it, listen to that, get your book out, and try to get in some strength in the word of the Most High Yah. But again, I'd like to thank those who support the ministry. May the Most High bless the hands, your health and strength, increase in knowledge. And with that being said, again, we really appreciate y'all supporting this ministry, because we do get out and help those who are brokenhearted. And that's just being part of the body. We're gonna deal with some of that on for the 1 p.m. Day Shabbat day class, that what we all supposed to be doing as a body. Hallelujah. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, nephew.
All right, brother Mikael, you and Cortez, y'all brother, my brother, y'all got anything y'all want to say before we get off of here?
Hey man, enjoyed it. We the new tech team behind the scene doing our thing. Hey, but I hope this lesson was edifying to the family. Let's really take this serious, and whatever we dealing with, let's take it to the Most High, and get this thing, get these heavy burdens off of us, brother and sister. All right, Cortez, you got something?
I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to the family and to the brethren on the panel. Hey, that was an excellent lesson, Hebrew. You had me kind of nervous because Mikael, my witness, couple scripts. I was like, one of them scripts you said 5, and I was like, he might have should have started at 6. As soon as I said that, you said, hey, I'm gonna go start at 6. Then you did another verse, Lamentation, and I called it out before you even said it, but we was in 2 different spots, but we was in the same chapter. And man, that just showed me there was confirmation that the Ruach was moving, man, because I'm like, me and you were vibing with the scripts, and you know for yourself, I don't know what your lesson was going to be about tonight, or your scriptures or whatever. But
no, you didn't. You didn't, Hebrew. You didn't know that.
Right. So all praise to the Most High for that, man. And I just want to say to the family, man, we living in some perilous times, man, and we done been through a lot, we done seen a lot, and we're gonna see a lot more. But with that being said, we gotta lock in with the Most High, man. And
hey, do your saying. Take us out with your saying now.
Hey, hold on, for we ain't got long, Israel, because in the end, we win.
That's right.
Outro us, Mikael. Look at my brother.
Is up. We've been through the fire, and now it's time to wake up. We're about to go higher. From Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes. It's been a long time coming, but we here now. Scattered all around the world, hidden in the midst of the nations. We was taken from far away, across the Atlantic, the slave trade. Yeah. They came in disguise with their Lord. Their intentions was evil for sure. What kind of people that would do such a thing like this? Yeah. Stacking humans on top of each other, ripping children from their mothers, and making example of their fathers. Oh, honey, is this up? We've been through the fire, and now it's time to wake up. We're about to go higher. From Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes. Sometimes it hurts so bad. The situation of my people, it's sad. They move around like the walking dead. No assurance of their life cause they live with fear. Who are them cursed people? They always at the bottom, those people. Head shaking at those people. Every nation hates those people. We here now, stand my people. We coming into our heritage. You better wake up, this ain't no fairy tale. He's here. He's restoring our stolen identities. And you know what this really, really means. We up next. Oh, honey, is this up? It's up. We've been through the fire. The fire. Now it's time to wake up. Wake up. We're about to go higher. Go higher. From Hebrews to Negro. To Negro. Hebrews to Negro. From Hebrews to Negro. Yeah. Hebrews to Negro.
Kingdom over everything. Or you can say kingdom over everybody. Are you willing to put your mind, body, and soul on the line?
Call this kingdom over everything. I'm about my Abba's business, for I be my wedding ring. Married to the gospel and I'm faithful, never giving up. That's word to the chief. My belief in the spiritual. Do the work, plant the seed. Christ is